Hi friends, welcome to the channel. This is your Govindraj. Today we are going to discuss on this national pension system, which is famously called as NPS, and we are going to specifically discuss about this corporate model, which was introduced in the year 2011, and what are the advantages for the employee and employer. So employer also is going to get certain benefits, and the employees are also going to get a certain dual benefit. So that is why it is called as dual advantage. So before I get into this topic details, I have to give you a little brief about this NPS pension system, about this its evolution. See, basically in 2003, based on the OSS report, which is Old Age Social and Income Security report, the government actually changed its pension system for its employees from defined benefit pension system to defined contribution pension system, and the same was notified in during 22nd December 2003, and which was actually renamed as National Pension System or NPS, effective from 1st January 2004. And the nodal agency to give guidelines and also regulate this pension market, which is called as Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority, you can also shortly call it as PFRDA. And also there is a legislative backup, there is a law behind this NPS scheme. Actually in 2013 the PFRDA Act was enacted, and in 2014 it was actually notified for implementation. And originally, if you look at friends, this scheme actually was available for government employees. Later the government thought it should be available for all citizens and to everyone, whether it is self-employed or private employees and the common people. So that is how this was opened in 1st May 2019 to everybody under voluntary contribution model. And the corporate sector, basically to assist the employer and also to extend this scheme to everyone, to the corporate sector, this corporate model was introduced in December 2011. One question may come to your mind, friends. There is already EPF and Miscellaneous Provisions Act 1952. There is an EPS scheme. What is the necessity of NPS, you may ask me. But I will tell you, if you look at the structure of EPF and Miscellaneous Provisions Act and the EPS especially, it has got certain restrictions, or it only covers certain section of employees and certain under certain restricted guidelines. But if you look at NPS, it is very wide, available to everyone, and it has got many more options, which we are going to talk about in this video. And first question is, why should you go for an NPS? See, one is you can actually moderate your investment, and it gives you a better growth option if you stay for longer, and it is also market linked returns, and definitely it helps you to grow your retirement savings. And also you can choose your investment pattern, because it has got different asset classes, and based on your risk profile you can choose your investment pattern. And it also offers tax benefit, which we call it as dual tax advantage, which I'm going to shortly tell you. And it also offers tier 2 account. Tier 1 is mandatory, tier 2 account, which gives you anytime liquidity. You can withdraw your money from any time, like a mutual fund. And premature exit is also possible. There is a portability is possible, and there is a robust IT infrastructure is available to manage your funds. So therefore you have to opt for national pension scheme. And basic question is, friends, how can you get into NPS? See, basically you need a PRAN account, which is called as permanent retirement account number. If you get it, and then it will have, and it is available to register online. You do, it's everything managed digitally. At the description box of this video I will give you certain links. If you are not a member of NPS, you can register and get your PRAN. And under PRAN you will have two accounts, the tier 1 account and tier 2 account, whereas tier 1 is mandatory, and the contributions made to tier 1 are only eligible for tax exemption, whereas tier 2 is only your investment account, where you can withdraw anytime your money. And what are the contributions options? How can you contribute? One is, I have already told you, it is purely voluntary. You can contribute anytime, any number of times voluntary, and there can be equal contributions from you and your employer up to 10% of basic and DA. And there is also possibility for unequal contributions. It is not that you have to restrict to certain percentage or certain amount. Your employer can contribute certain percentage up to 10% of basic and DA, and you can also choose to contribute, so that unequal is possible. And now let me get into this corporate model and the dual advantage. See, I say dual because it helps the employer, it helps the employee, and also the employee will get a dual advantage because of the deduction under section 80C and 80CCD 1B, and also when the contributions are routed through employer under 80CCD 2, the investments which are done or the contributions which are made from the employer are not taxable. And the benefit for employers is, the moment the employer contributes up to 10% of basic and DA, those contributions are actually treated as business expense and can be deducted from their profit and loss account under section 3614A of Income Tax Act 1961. And of course, it is the responsibility of the employer to make sure that to take care of his employees, and it also helps in employee retention to grow their retirement savings. Now talk about what is the dual advantage for employees in the corporate model. See, one is the contributions you made which are already benefited from the tax deduction under 80CC under section 80C. Of course, under section 80C, you know that there is a maximum ceiling of 1.5 lakhs. Put together all your investment, but the contributions made to NPS can also be captured under section 80C up to 1.5 lakhs. That is one benefit. The second benefit, in addition, if you are a subscriber of NPS, you are going to get tax benefit of another 50,000 rupees, or tax benefit for another up to 50,000 rupees contribution. You are going to get a tax benefit under section 80CCD 1B. So that is the first advantage you get under normal circumstances. Suppose your employer also helps you and he contributes up to 10% of basic and DA, those contributions are not at all taxable, and those tax benefit or those contribution benefit are beyond section 80C and 80CCD 1B, and this benefit is extended under section 80CCD 2. You can get into this section and read about this benefit, and this is beyond your regular tax benefit under section 80C and 80CCD 1B. How about the applicability of this benefit for people who have opted for a new tax regime? See, if you look at, you have the old tax regime and the new tax regime. Some of you may be in old tax regime and some of you may be in new tax regime. Section 80C and 80CCD 1B are not going to be applicable for the new tax regime, but the benefit under section 80CCD 2, which the contributions of employer are again benefited from for this new tax regime also. That is why we call it as the dual advantage. One question may come to your mind also still: how can the corporate model be implemented when the employer is not at all interested to implement because it leads to an additional cost to him? But see, if both of you mutually agree to align your CTC, then it is possible, so that it doesn't lead to any additional cost in the hands of employer. The employer contributions to NPS can also be captured under your CTC, and then the employer can contribute or pay those contributions to the NPS so that you are eligible for tax benefit. So if that is the model you adapt, then it still is going to work for you. And of course, you must be aware this: the NPS contributions and the fund investments are subject to market risks, but if you manage your funds well, and if you are based on your risk profile, and if you stay longer, the contributions and the benefits are going to be, or the returns are going to be much higher. And if you don't want to take risk, you can also invest in government securities more, or the corporate securities more, and less in equity market. Friends, I have still not completed the story because I have still not answered certain questions. We only talked about tax treatment at the investment stage, but we have not talked about what is during the withdrawal, what is the possibility for partial withdrawal and what are the riders, is there any premature exit and are there any riders, what is the withdrawal conditions in case of death of the subscriber, how do you implement in your company, if at all you are going to implement, what is the process, and is there a portability when you leave the company, is that also be thought through, and what are the intermediaries involved in NPS, and what are the different classes of investment options when you contribute, do you have an option, or when it is routed through the employer, do you have an option to still decide your own ratio of investment to different asset classes, which is equity, government securities, corporate bonds and securities, and the asset class other, the mortgage security backed funds, do you have a possibility. I will definitely find some time to answer these questions, friends, in the future videos. Stay connected. And I also have an experience in implementing this corporate model. And in case you want to talk to me, or in case you need any support, you can definitely talk to me, and you know how to contact me. And I will definitely leave few important links in the description box in case you are interested to research more. And now friends, allow me to sign off. I will see you in the next video. And of course, if this video has made sense to you and it has added value to your knowledge, do not keep it with you alone. Please do share. And if you are not a member of this channel, please do subscribe. And I will see you again, and thank you for watching this video, friends.